Woodie was quick to explore the islands of the archipelago he was trapped in, but he would later find out that he had something that he's been dealing with for a while to deal with. Within the second week of his exile. With the dawn of the 8th day, he set out to make a fresh raft. Wanting to make sure he had the most time at sea. Because he needed to find as much as he could, and hopefully find some clue that could lead him out of that. For a start, signs of another human would be nice. Of course, he wasn't hoping for much, but he could at least hope for something. Although on the way, he could pick up some seaweed. As it would at least provide some food. Yet, for some reason, he wanted to travel along the deeper waters. Then he decided to see what happened when he attacked a barrel. Unfortunately, it exploded. Thankfully, he got out of the blast radius. He decided that it would be wise to go along the direction of the waves, rather than go against them. Yet there was still no land in sight. He was starting to get worried. Then Woodie found another island, one with an abundance of stone and gold. This was something that he could use both of these. Yeah. He would need to gather as much as possible. or at least as much as he needed. Although there were other inhabitants on this island. Giant, one-eyed birds. And on this island, Woodie found something interesting. A strange object. An object that he was compelled to take, largely because he saw it as useful. And this bird, flightless though it was, would not tolerate any intruders near the nest. And considering that night was approaching, it was not safe to travel. So Woodie decided to set up camp somewhere where he could actually make some form of artificial light. And artificial in this case means not from the sun. With the dawn of the 9th day, Woodie decided to continue with his exploration of the archipelago, in the hopes that he could find more of these strange objects. Although he knew that he would need to develop better means of getting around these islands. As the raft that he was using, it worked, but he could make better means of getting around. He just needed to develop the means of doing so. That was something that he would need to figure out at some point. But for now, he would keep searching for other islands to utilize. As wherever the means of getting out of there was, it wasn't there. It wasn't on the island that he was on previously. Woodie found himself on an island of the dead, as there were many dead people scattered around this place. He also decided to work on making some storage, for he knew what was coming. And he needed to keep the food he had safe from decaying quicker, as he would need to eat it. After what was coming. Oh, and don't worry, I will be getting to that. Well, there is one advantage to chopping down trees. They sometimes drop eggs. And those can be good for eating. When cooked, of course. The full moon was approaching, and when the full moon came, Woodie experienced a change. He had the curse of the weird beaver, one that made him much harder to kill. What was dropped by what he killed. If it was useful to him, he'll pick it up later. And this was a good time to chop down trees. Largely because normally, if you chop down too many trees, it would result in him turning into the werebeaver. But chopping down trees this often wasn't going to be a problem. Largely because he was already a werebeaver. Yeah, he would gather as much wood as possible. Because there would be much to work on when the transformation reverted. And yes, the transformation was temporary. It would eventually run out, for lack of a fair way of putting it. Although Woodie, even in this form, knew that he would need to head back to the campfire where he dropped his stuff. That way he'd have an access to food supply. That, and he'd have a means of fighting back due to what would happen after he reverted. On day 11, he was not in good shape. Thankfully, he had enough food to fill himself up with, although he would also need to pick up everything that was dropped. And there was quite a bit to drop. Well, quite a bit dropped, and then just when things couldn't get any worse, a crocodile had attacked. Thankfully, not much harm was done to Woodie. And he picked some flowers up to help keep him sane. Although he, well, did know that he'd need to make some medical supplies. And out in the wild, he had to make do with what he had. And thankfully he had the means of making it. It would also help if he explored more of this island to find out if there was anything useful here. He also knew that he shouldn't leave this lying around what was here. Otherwise it'd be blown into the water. As it could be told that a new season was approaching. And this one had more rain. Woodie knew that he'd have to warm himself up to not be so wet. It would also help if he planted some trees to replace what he cut down as the werebeaver. And on this island, there were monkeys. We didn't want to leave them alone. But they didn't attack him, so Woodie chose to ignore it. Yeah, he chose to ignore them all. Well, why attack those that are trying to kill you? It would certainly be a waste of resources, wouldn't it? Resources that could be used to do other things like, oh, I don't know, help with survival. And don't ask me why Woodie decided to wear a garland of flowers on his head, but it helped him cope with the situation that was before him. So if I was there with him, I would say, why stop him? At the start of the 12th day, Woodie decided to burn some unneeded materials in order to be able to make a healing salve. The healing salve was something that he needed to get back into better condition than he was. Thankfully, there are plenty of evil-looking flowers to burn with the torch. There was even something else he could burn to make something else, but he decided to focus on what was needed sooner. And to get that, he needed to kill more spiders, but he didn't feel up to that yet. In the northwest part of this island, Woodie found something that was quite interesting. This was a place where he could find fish. As the other intelligent life on this island was able to fish for it quite well. And thankfully, Woodie had the webs that he needed to make a fishing rod in order to get to the fish. on the 13th day, Woodie decided to make something different. He decided to make something more advanced than he has previously. He decided to make a robot. With this, he'd have a longer lasting way of getting around. As for what he intended to do with this, well, he decided that he needed a way of he needed to see what was in the southern mangroves. And what was there was wildlife that provided manure. Something needed for agriculture. And these beasts would provide all the manure that Woodie would ever need. And as for fish, well, Woodie knew of a source of it on this island, and also a way to get at it. Besides exploiting the air-breathing fishes that seem to fish a mouse and not eat them for some reason. Yeah, it would definitely be worth using a fishing rod here around the tidal pools. As for farming, that might require more complicated methods. Some improvisation. Meanwhile, it was a good time to cook some food. As it was better to cook the food to make it bearable. Well, that's what Woodie was likely thinking at the time. And then he remembered he needed to get on the more durable way of getting around. As he went back to check up on the fish that was going to waste. As well as catching some fish of his own. On day 14, Woodie headed back to the mangroves to the south of the island, as there was more manure to gather. The creatures that emptied out their bowels didn't attack him, so much as with the monkeys, he chose to ignore them. And to the south of the mangroves was another forest with spiders and monkeys and a beach. This was quite a large island. Still, it was a good place to make charcoal. Something that would be needed for something that would help out with food. And condense the storage of it. Overnight, a farm and a crock pot was made. More was needed, and to make more stone would need to be gathered. The werebeaver is subdued for now, but it would return eventually. Preparations would need to be made before that happened.